This video is on perimeter and area of rectangles. This is a review of what you've learned in elementary school. Perimeter is the distance around a two-dimensional shape. To find the perimeter, you just add the lengths of all the sides together. So for our rectangle down here, our purple rectangle, you'll notice we only have two side lengths. But we know the characteristics of a rectangle say that opposite sides are congruent. So if the right side is 7 units, that means the left side will also be 7. The bottom is 5, then the top is going to measure 5 as well. To find the perimeter, we just add up all the measurements. 5 plus 7 is 12, plus 5 is 17, plus 7 is 24. So our perimeter is 24 units. We do the same thing for our triangle. This time we're only given one side, so we need to count up the other sides. We'll start with the bottom, which is called the base. We count the number of squares that make up the base. 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, and 4 squares. So that measures 4. We do the same thing for the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. Now that we have our measurements, we add them up. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 7 is 17. So the perimeter is 17 units. And our last shape is what we call an irregular figure. We just, again, perimeter, add up all the sides, so measure all the sides. This top side measures 3 units. This side here is 2 units. This one is also 2. This side on the right is 2 as well. The bottom, or the base side, is 5, and the left side is 4. Now that we have all of our measurements, we add them together. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 5 is 14, plus 4 is 18. So the perimeter is 18 units. Let's talk about area. Area is the amount of space inside a two-dimensional object. Take a look at our purple rectangle. All of the space that's inside, this is our area. And to find our area, in this case, we can just add up all the squares that make up our rectangle, or we can take the shortcut and we can add up the row, how many make up a row, which is 5, how many make up the column, 7, and multiply them together. 7 times 5 is 35 square units. We call it square units because we're multiplying units together. Okay? Let's look at our next figure. This figure is a square. So we can, again, area is all of the inside, so we can add up all of the squares inside the figure, or we can see that the side lengths are 3 and 3, and multiply them together. 3 times 3 is 9, so the area would be 9 square units. A formula is an equation that shows the relationship among certain quantities. So there's a formula for finding the area of a rectangle, and that is A equals LW. What this means is that the area, A, of a rectangle is the product, which means to multiply, of the length and the width. So to find the area of a rectangle, you'll multiply the length times its width. Just a quick side note, let's talk about this formula and how it's written. Do you notice that the A is capitalized? When the A is capitalized and it's in a formula, that means you're looking for the area. The length and the width are lowercase letters. They are not capital letters. So when you're writing your formula, you need to make sure that you write it correctly. Let's try some for practice. Take a look at our first rectangle. We want to find the area. The first thing you always want to do is write the formula that you're using. We're using our area equals length times width. So let's do it. 8 times 4 is 32, so the area is 32 yards squared. Again, remember, it's yards times yards, which means you're squaring it. And this is how we write it. We use the abbreviation for yards, and then we use a power. It's a power of 2. We put that exponent in there. That means squared. Let's take a look at the yellow rectangle. Length times width, so 16 times 14 is going to equal 84 feet squared. Go ahead and quickly see if you can do the blue one on your own. Did you get 42 meters squared? Good job. Okay, let's talk about a square. There is a formula for finding the area of a square, and this is the formula, A equals S squared. And what this means is that the area, capital A, of a square is the length of a side S squared. Remember, the characteristics of a square is that all of the sides are congruent or equal. So let S represent the side, and you just square it. So let's try it. First thing we always do, since these are all squares, we're going to put our formula. Area equals the side squared, S squared. Our side length is 4, so we're going to square it, 4 squared. Remember, when you square a number, it is not 4 times 2. It is 4 times itself 2 times. So it's going to be 4 times 4, and you get 16 feet squared. Let's try this one over here, 12 centimeters. Again, it's a square, all the sides are equal. So we're going to square 12 squared, and 12 squared equals 144. So the area of that square is 144 centimeters squared. Try this last square on your own. Did you get 10 squared, which is 100 inches squared? If you did, great job. Let's work a couple of word problems. Mr. Blake wants to plant grass in a square space that has an area of 64 feet squared. How much will a side measure? Okay, let's take a look at what we're being told. We're being told that it has an area of 64 square feet and that it is a square space. And what is it that we want to find? How much is a side? How much will a side measure? Okay, so here's our square, and this is a little bit different. We're not usually told what the area is. We're usually finding the area. In this case, we're being told what the area is. So the first thing we need to do is always write down our formula. Since it is a square, I'm going to use my area equals S squared, side squared. Now I'm going to plug in what I know. In this case, I know my area, so I'm going to rewrite my formula and I'm going to plug in 64 for the A. Since I don't know the side length, it's going to stay S. So 64 equals S squared. Now think to yourself, what number can you multiply by itself to equal 64? Did you say 8? If you did, good job. So the side will be 8 feet. Let's try another one of those. Sarah is making a rectangular quilt for her bed. She needs 2,400 inches squared of material. If the width of her quilt is 60 inches, how long will the quilt be? Okay, what do we know? First, we know that it's a rectangular quilt. Then we know she needs 2,400 inches squared. There's that squared again. That's telling us that this is the area that she's going to need. And then we know that her width is 60 inches, and we're trying to find out how long it's going to be. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're confused, you don't know where to begin, remember the first step is to always write down your formula. It is a rectangle, so our formula is going to be area equals length times width. Then plug in what you know. I know my area this time, so I'm going to replace my A with the 2,400. Do I know my length? No, so it's going to remain the L. Do I know the width? Yes, it's 60, so I'll replace the W with 60. So my equation is going to look like this. 2,400 equals length times 60. Now, to find my length, I'm going to work backwards. Instead of multiplying by 60, I'm going to divide this 2,400 by 60, and that will give me my length. So there we go. If you do the math, you'll get 40. So the length of the quilt is going to be 40 inches. And this is our last example problem. The small square is inside a larger square. The larger square is 12 feet long. The smaller square is 2 feet long. What is the area of the shaded region? So we want to know what is the area of this orange section. Okay, does this orange section include this small square in the middle? No, it does not. We need to somehow take this out of this total area. So the first thing we're going to have to do is find the area for the larger square. Okay. Our formula, since it is a square, will be area equals side squared. Since the sides are 12 feet, we're going to square it. Area equals 12 squared. 12 times 12 is 144. So the area for the larger square is 144 feet squared. Okay, but that's not our answer. We need to take out the smaller square. So we need to find the area for the smaller square. We're going to use the same formula, and since the sides of the smaller square are 2 feet, we're going to have area equals 2 squared, which the area is 4. Now that I've found the larger and the smaller, I can go ahead and find out what the shaded region is. I take the larger and I subtract the smaller from it. So 144 minus 4, and I get 140, that's wrong, 140 feet squared. If you have questions, please let us know when class starts tomorrow. This is the end of the videos, and there is no homework check tonight.